Hi, my name is Tanya and welcome to my garden. It has been 17 days since I did my last garden tour. Now, in that time, I have filmed 2 tomato harvests. One I weighed and got 22 kilos, and I'm thinking the previous one to that would have been about the same. So it gives you some indication as to how much you can grow from a small vegetable garden. My garden is not big. It is 17 meters by 10 meters, and I have a heap of different things growing here, like these dwarf apples. I have a herb patch, and at the moment these apples are very close to being picked or ready to be picked, and the birds are into them. I do have them netted, and that is why the growth is leaning over a bit. I am using a net over them, but the birds still pick through the net. So we win some, we lose some. This is my herb garden. It's the perennial vegetable garden, and I have these herbs down one end near the compost bins. And this is the lemon balm, which just goes crazy, which I love, and the giant Russian rhubarb, which I will be shifting to the normal place where I have my rhubarb. Now, this mini Lebanese cucumber hasn't been going so well, and all of a sudden in the last week it has taken off, and the growth has been amazing, and we have been picking off this, and so far it has been my favorite cucumber that we've grown. We've had the cucumbers and they have been great, and the Space Master not so bad. They're okay. Our neighbours' chooks get a lot of those because they go from small to enormous in no time. But these ones have been fantastic. Now, this was a markdown punnet of cucumbers. I think I paid $2 for them, so everything is a bonus. This is the Lebanese zucchinis that I put seeds in, and they haven't done so good. It's probably not a good spot for them. But up here, I've got some supplies up here ready to do some mulching, and I'm going to pot up some things you'll see in a minute. But I've got some supplies. I've got some cow manure and mushroom compost, and I've got my baskets and things to pick into or to put my produce in, and I'm going to start with these cucumbers. This tiny little bush produces so many cucumbers that it just is amazing. It never seems to look overly healthy, but it certainly doesn't stop it from producing lots of cucumbers. We have enjoyed these, and they were early to fruit, and so we have enjoyed them for quite a long time now. So that is a good haul of cucumbers, and we certainly wouldn't need any more, although we do have more on the Space Master cucumbers. I've got a couple of extra tomatoes planted over there, which I'll go back to. Along here is my traveller tomatoes and the patty pan squash, and I've planted lots of basil along this. But let's grab a couple of these patty pan squash. I absolutely love these. They cook up so good in any kind of pasta dish. I have not tried. I'd like to scoop them out and put something in and put a lid back on, like use the top as a lid, but I haven't had that many that I can make a whole heap of those. But this keeps me in enough to put into lasagna and spaghetti. It's just wonderful. Now, these are the 2 later additions. I found a green zebra and a pineapple, and all I really want to do is get a bit of fruit, maybe to taste and to save some seeds. That was my thought when I grabbed those 2 really late. This is the wrinkled butternut. I'm not sure if this is going okay, but it's sort of hanging there. And the Jackby little pumpkins, there's quite a few of those. It's quite prolific, and I can't wait to taste those. I'm wondering how much flesh they will have in them. The bees have certainly been busy just working away. This is early in the morning. It's like 6 in the morning. The sun is only just coming up. These are the yellow climbing beans. I remember them, my parents growing them when I was younger. I think they were more of a bush bean though, but I'm not overly, liking the taste of them. I prefer the purple climbing beans and the beautiful sunflowers. I've had to tie them back to the mesh because they were with the wind and the heat, and they were sort of leaning over, so I've sort of contained them to this corner, which has been beautiful. Some have finished flowering, other smaller ones are still flowering. And they just sit here with some more purple climbing beans. And I've got a big old copper with basil in it. This is the back of the dwarf apple trees, and all the fruit sits on this side. Now we've got the rhubarb, I've got the crookneck pumpkin. No, the crookneck pumpkin. But let's pick a bit of rhubarb. I want rhubarb crumble, so let's get some picked. I have been picking it, washing it, slicing it, and just putting it in a bag in the freezer. And I've taken it out, and it seems to keep really well. I've just cooked it up, added it to things. So when I have a lot, that's what I do. There's plenty here to pick. The stems never stay red, so if anyone's got any advice, please let me know. The hollyhocks are still growing. It's got a very similar leaf, really. But I'll be looking forward to them growing up nice and tall there, just to fill in that corner. This is the crookneck pumpkin. It has taken off with all our heat, and there's flowers on there. All of a sudden it's just raced ahead. We've got a couple of extra tomatoes along here. I bought these also marked down, and they're all fruiting as well. So I look forward to seeing how they produce. And it's the same with the others. It's more about saving seed for next year, but if I get some fruit and get to taste it, I'm really happy. The strawberries, we're getting a bit here and there, and that's okay. We have had some pretty vicious heat, well and truly high 30s, low 40s. The loofah is still struggling to get going, so I'm just trying to keep it watered and see if anything will happen. It's probably a little late in the season. And the lemon verbena is flowering. It's just so beautiful. I love that plant. And the echinacea, and I've got a sage there here in the herb area with a lemon tree, a dwarf lemon tree. I've got some more supplies there, and these are the leek seed heads. The chocolate cherry tomato has gone crazy. It is so tall. I think I will need a ladder to pick any of that fruit that is up high. So much on it. And just to have a look at these little snack capsicums and the chilies, and it's just wonderful. Well, this is the little project I've been going to start. Going to work on it soon. I'm going to get these 2 dwarf banana plants in that big pot there, and hopefully I can put it into my glass house come winter time. we're back into the pumpkin arch, and we have a new little pumpkin ticking along there. It's so glossy and green, it's just beautiful. And since the last tour, I've had to put my pumpkin on a throne. I posted a picture on my community tab, and because the vine started to split. So I've put a star picket in and a pot on top, and he just sits there on his pot. And it is so heavy. There's the purple climbing beans, very plentiful. I'll be able to keep some and leave them on the vine and just let them keep growing, and will be able to save those for next year. The pumpkin's gone right across. I did used to have a pumpkin on the top. It sagged the wire in so much that we went to put a prop up underneath it and the pumpkin rolled off. I have it hidden sort of out of the sun, sitting on a pot in under the bean arch, but I don't know if it's going to be any good. But the melons have really kicked on. They're growing. I'm watering them plenty because they are expanding, and I can't wait to cut into one of those. Got some rainbow chard and the basil in here. Got the tomatoes the other side, which some pop through this side. And the rock melons are looking fantastic. And these are the Space Master cucumbers, which there'll be huge ones. The chooks will be looking forward to those. Here we are on the other side. There is a bit of sun damage, and so many of the Thai pink egg. It is very prolific. It is fantastic. It's delicious to eat. And we're back the other side with the watermelons. The birds have been in and they've been eating some of the fruit. And look, I have that much that I don't mind. But let's get some of this fruit picked, some of these tomatoes picked, because today is going to get really, really hot and I want all this off before the sun damages it. So I'm going to start picking and just see how much I get of the tomatoes, but I'm also going to have a look at the peppers and the eggplant. These tomatoes have been so prolific. The amount of tomatoes this bush has produced is quite unbelievable. I think there is maybe only 2 plants, and it is just been, it's almost like a cherry and a normal tomato crossed, because it produces fruit in abundance like a cherry tomato. But it's just sort of golf ball size, which is a great size for, salads and things. So it's been a great tomato, and I will definitely be growing this again. The skin is very soft, so it blends up if you want to mix it into sauces and things. It's not a tough skin at all. These are the Black Russian, and I just have put a picture on my community tab where I had one that was nearly a kilo. And I hadn't weighed any of the previous ones, but I thought I would. I had a comment from a lady who had weighed some of hers, and I couldn't believe it until I started weighing how heavy they are. And that is just beautiful. The color is beautiful, and just, it's like a work of art, truly. The only problem I have with the Black Russian is that the vine cannot hold up this heavy fruit. Whereas with the Tasmanian chocolate, I found that the little, I think they're determinate bushes, hold up the fruit quite sturdy. Even though I've got a growing frame in it, the branches do not bend over and be hanging down around the ground. So that I like. It means that they're not being damaged by watering or, slaters, bugs. And these are just beautiful as well. So much fruit on these. They're probably a smaller tomato than the Black Russian. Very similar, I think more taste, but not as heavy and a lot more fruit. This, like I said, in my last harvest, I weighed the amount that I had after just picking tomatoes, and it was over 22 kilos. This is going to be something similar. The previous harvest I did was something similar. This is all within a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. This is an amazing amount of tomatoes. These San Mazzanos are just so beautiful hanging there. They do get a lot of shade. The ones this side or even in the middle, they get quite a bit of shade just because there's so many tomatoes in this bed. And really there shouldn't be, but I am getting so much fruit, I have no complaints. But they are still fruiting even with that much shade. Now we're across with, these were the cheap punnet of rainbow Roma mix that I got. We've got the yellow Roma, the red Roma, the pink Thai egg is part of that mix, and I'll be looking forward to saving seeds for all of these. These look so beautiful, this pink color, and it's pink all the way through the fruit. The colors are just so beautiful. The sun is just coming up. I've got some big beans there that I'll be saving. I just snack on these. We pick some for dinner. I haven't even really started freezing any. I'm happy just to eat what I can. The chocolate cherry I can't keep up with. But these are the beetroot and the carrots that I sprinkled around, I think a couple of weeks ago. A lot have come through. So there's different types of carrots, so they are taking longer, and there's lots of different types of beetroot as well, so they may be taking longer. So I will have to wait and see how many patches don't have anything growing in them. These are the sweet mix capsicum. There's such a big variety, those tiny red ones, plus the big green one that you can see there. They all came out of the one punnet. Now these are the long sweet yellow, otherwise known as banana peppers, I think. And we have been eating a lot of these. This bush is prolific. It has so much fruit on it. As you can see, we will be picking these for ages. And this is my first eggplant. I was so excited to pick this. The color is just divine. It is beautiful to look at and delicious to eat. I cooked it up with patty pan squash and a whole heap of other things in a lasagna, and it was just wonderful. I had 90% of the vegetables in my lasagna were picked from here, and it was just a wonderful thing to be able to do that. There's the sun just coming up. This is my favorite time in the garden. These are the little snack capsicums in a yellow. You can pick them green also, but These were the single plants that I bought, and they are really good, and they are quite prolific as well. And this is the harvest. Just so much color. How can that not be good for you? It's just so beautiful. Thank you if you've made it to here. I really appreciate you sticking around. If you'd like to subscribe, please subscribe. That would be great. If not, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.